Hello, what it do? Welcome to the first of this series, which is teaching you how to use this silly little game engine called CopperCube. I'm using CopperCube 6, the professional edition as well, which doesn't really make any differences. This is a free game engine, and the reason I wanted to start the series is because there's not really any tutorials on how to use this silly game engine online, so I wanted to change that and hopefully help you make silly little games. Now, before I do anything, keep in mind this game engine is very, very limiting. Definitely recommended as a beginner game engine. The only reason I haven't moved on yet is because I'm comfortable using it, and I don't want to move on. So don't be like me. Move on to other game engines once you've gotten comfortable. Well, with that being said, this is a really fun and cute game engine, and I wanted to start this first video by just showing you how to make the player, it'll be a very simple one. I thought I'd start off small and not do anything crazy. By the way, I mostly make horror games, so how the player moves and stuff will be kind of centered around that, but obviously you can tweak things according to your liking. So you go here, you click on the little camera icon, and then first-person shooter camera. I don't really use any of the other ones except for simple camera for cutscenes and stuff, but first-person shooter camera is the most important one because that is the actual player. As you can see, it's this little box with, this box with a cylinder around it, sphere god. This little box here. Don't worry about that box for now, just worry about this. So as you can see, by default it starts off tiny. If I go up here and test, you can see that I'm really, really tiny, and the gravity is all weird, and I jump really high. Ignore the NVIDIA overlay thing on the top right, it always does that, and it's very annoying. And also the sensitivity is super high. So, I'm going to show you what I do to fix this personally, and just how I normally make my, little players. So first of all, go in here, go to Behavior, and click on First-Person Shooter Style Control. Change Jump Speed to, 2. Change Rotate Speed. I normally do, 100 to 150, but for this tutorial's sake, we will do 130. And then change movement speed. Actually, it might be okay as 1 for now. I'm going to keep it there and see what happens. Also, this is an important thing. If you want to make your game seem kind of fancy a little bit, you could turn on smooth moving. And what that is whenever the player lifts up one of the directional keys, they'll keep moving for a little second, almost like a little slide whenever they stop moving. 250 is way too much. I usually have it at 100, so it's just barely noticeable. And then go into collide when moved, and this will fix how big the collision box is. So the collision box is the yellow lines there, and you can see for some reason the camera's kind of in the middle of it. So if they were to jump on the ceiling, they would bump it all the way up there, and it just seemed kind of weird. I normally change the size to be 21 in the middle. That's how tall it is. The middle number is how tall it is. I should have explained that. So as you can see, it makes it all skinny, right? So we kind of want to buff it out by maybe making these both 9. And those are just these different axes right here. And then you want to go to relative position. And what this is where the camera is at in the collision box, basically. And normally I raise it up. So we'll go to 12, and we'll actually go back in here and raise it again to 15. And it's already looking way better in normal. Obviously keep affected by gravity on. I never really do enable inclination either. So now we'll test it, and it should seem a lot more normal. You can see I'm way taller, and yep, I got a normal movement speed, a small jump, but the gravity still seems very off. Now what you want to do to fix that is actually go up here to the scene that we're in, and the scenes are these things, right? And I don't know why CopperCube does that. Sometimes whenever you click something, it just doesn't actually go to it. Very fun. You want to go to gravity and change it to 4. 10 is always way too high no matter what. It just feels so strong. And okay, something else that you want to do is click on camera. And I always do this whenever I make a game, is go to max vertical angle. And what this is basically how far the player can look up or down. And I usually turn it down because the player looking down and just seeing nothing underneath them just isn't really the best feeling. And whenever they can't look all the way down, it kind of gives the vibe that there's more to be seen there, even if the player probably knows that they're not. So you see I can't look all the way down now. And I feel like that just adds a bit of more immersiveness. And you can also see now the gravity is much more normal. So now I have kind of like a nice little hop. And also the smooth moving thing, I could also show that off a little bit as well. I'll tell you when I stop moving. I stop moving now. Stop moving now. You see how I move for like just a split second after I let go of the key? Right now I'm just tapping it. You see I'm kind of gliding a little bit. I don't know if you can actually see that very well. I'll showcase it more by turning it way up because this will showcase it pretty damn well. There we go. You see that? I'm going to let go of the W key. No? Yeah, that's a way better way to showcase it. Now I'm tapping it. Yeah, you get the point of what smooth moving is. We're going to move on to this now. This is the camera target. So basically what this is just where the camera's looking whenever the scene is first loaded in. And you always want to have it in a good spot. Otherwise, the player will be very confused and disoriented whenever they first get into a level. So I'm going to put the player in the middle of the map. And this is how I always move the camera target. I always put it like just about right where the camera itself is, right? And I'll just move it wherever I want them to be looking. So like over there, you know? And let me get like a box in here or something. I'll just use this texture. And normally, here's another pro gamer tip. I usually make boxes 2 wide or big. I mean, you get what I'm trying. Put it right there. Okay. So now whenever I load in, I will be looking straight ahead. Now we have a box as well. And you can kind of get an idea for like jump. It's like just about perfect for this box size. Gravity is still a little strong, but that's fine. And yeah, another weird thing about this engine as well is that jumping is very, very finicky. And a lot of people complain about that when playing my games because I am nice enough to include a lot of platforming in my games. Which is a bad idea if you're using this game engine, by the way. Once again, don't be me. But you notice how like you can kind of like climb onto objects? That's because the player's collision box is an oval. So if they collide with the crate like right here, for example, they'll slide up it because it's on an incline. If the player collision box was like, you know, a box or like a straight cylinder, that would not happen. And another fun thing, okay, this is getting into the platforming side of things. You see how the bottom right there of the player collision box is a point? If that point is not connected to the ground, then the player cannot jump. And what that means is that a lot of frustrating situations can happen where, let's say, if a crate or something is on an incline down. I'll show you this, because this is important. Then the player, you see I hit the jump key there, but I didn't jump because I'm like kind of gliding above the incline as I go down it because of how the gravity is and just the game engine being funky. See, I hit jump again, but if I go up the crate, I'll jump because the little point of the collision box is always on the crate. So yeah, there's a important thing that I wanted to include there. And this will be the last thing because I want this to be a short video. Whenever you have your player and you're positioning them in your level, right, wherever you want them to be, make sure that the collision box is not in the ground, because I'll show you what happens. It's pretty obvious. The collision box will just simply be clipped in the ground and they'll have to kind of dig out of it and it'll just be awkward. And also don't have them too far up, because then whenever they load into the level, they'll drop down and it'll just seem kind of jank. Just make sure you have them at a healthy little medium where they can't really notice themselves loading in like the level in a super video gamey way. So I think that's all I have to show off for this one. I hope this helped. I might show off other things you can do with the camera as well. Like you can have it so that the player can zoom in if they click a button or interact with things. I'll do all of that in a different video. Right now, you have a very basic player that functions and moves around nicely, as nice as the game engine can do anyway. And yeah, you cannot change the shape of the collision box as well. I feel like that's a pretty important detail right there. I hope you enjoyed. Please take care of yourself and have a great day.